You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. If you're a smoker or dipper looking to make a change, you really only need one reason to do it. But with Zyn nicotine pouches, you can find many. Zyn is America's #1 nicotine pouch. It's made with only 6 simple ingredients. There are lots of options when it comes to nicotine satisfaction, but there's only one Zyn. Learn more about Zyn and find your reason to make a change by registering online at Zyn.com.
You know when you reach that age where everyone and their mother won't shut up about their credit scores, yet it seems like no one really understands what's so special about those 3 random numbers? That's because credit scores are meaningless, unless you have Credit Karma to show you how to use them. We use those 3 random numbers, plus your financial profile, to help you find your next opportunity. Like a more rewarding credit card, a game plan that helps you pay down debt faster, or a personal loan to help you save more on interest payments each month. Cha-ching! Download Intuit Credit Karma today to get started.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I have to start off by issuing a couple of apologies. I lied a couple times yesterday, and it was just this sort of burning in my heart that I felt all day long. And once I realized it wasn't heartburn, I was like, that's why. Because I told 2 lies on yesterday's show as far as I can remember, and I have to apologize. Neither of the people I'm apologizing to are here, though. Tom Brady's the first person. It's insignificant, really. But when I said my Achilles was barking the whole time I was running on the treadmill, it was not. I felt fine.
Wow.
I was just trying to lure Tom Brady into the race with a lie. It didn't really work.
Stugotz is strong on you.
Thank you. The second apology, and he's not here, unfortunately, is to Jeremy.
Wow.
Jeremy Taché. I consider myself a man of faith. No, that's another lie. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize, Jeremy, for treating you the way I treated you yesterday after he tried to institute some heat talk, right? We tried to talk some heat. We asked for it. And then just the tone that it was coming out in, it was just a little too Jeremy. And we just didn't love it. And so I stopped him. And I feel terrible because I think the audience is now turned to defending Jeremy.
I wouldn't go that far.
No?
I think
segments of the audience, at least?
Hold on. Are you apologizing for treating Jeremy badly, or are you apologizing for making Jeremy a sympathetic character?
No, you're right. I should follow through. I'm apologizing for lying because I actually wanted to hear him continue talking about the Heat. But as I said on the show, I was thinking about that one fan in Minnesota, and he's just like, I'm going to turn this thing off because we're still talking about the Miami Heat, the team that finished 8th in the East last season.
I feel like we're at a spot with Jeremy where every few weeks we try to reset and all right, Jeremy, we're going to do this again. Try to talk Heat. And there's just something, like you said, there's something about when he starts that we all feel this need to undercut.
Well, it maybe has something to do with number 3 being the power of friendship. Because for me, that was I also, Chris, I'm with you. I'm like, let's hear him out. Yes. And then he says the power of friendship, and I'm like, oh no.
But if you put the power of friendship as a title and insert it into Tony's top 5, it wouldn't be terrible,
Then
right?
it's a banger. No, it's not a banger.
So I think it has something to do with his presentation. So
the vibes.
It's the vibes. He's either the stats guy who's telling you.
Too earnest.
So earnest.
Pedantic. He's either the stat guy giving you all the reasons, or he's giving you, the power of friendship. And so, yeah, I think we still got to work that out. All right. So I apologize to Jeremy. I lied. I definitely wanted to talk Heat. One day we'll keep talking
One
Heat.
day.
Izzy, I think the issue with Jeremy, and I need to coach him about it, is he needs more flair. He needs more pomp and circumstance. No, he delivers it.
Those are two very opposing pieces of advice you're offering. One saying more flair and one saying less flair.
He needs more flair. Okay. He needs to be like Ric Flair out there. He needs to say things in a way that get people going, right? Like he delivers it, even though his tone changes a little bit. He needs to deliver it with more excitement.
I think it's that whatever he's actually saying, all people are hearing is, I love this team so much.
In that same voice.
It's the best team ever.
That's the thing he's bought and paid for. I'm not. So I can be Flair with the dramatic. I'm not bought and paid for.
There's where I'll pull back a little bit on the bought and paid for stuff, because I know I would hate that if that was said about me. I, aspire to be objective. At least I have in my whole career. Jeremy is one of those. He is one of us. He wants to be objective. And so that's why, as I said, give me the stats, and then just sort of laughed at power of friendship. It's like, okay, that is a little bit of the bought and paid for element.
I actually don't think any of your hypotheses are accurate. I think that this group in particular feeds everyone here, feeds off of being able to pounce on the perceived weakest link.
You guys are mean.
Yeah, I think we all,
you all,
including people who are not here today,
all y'all.
we all need someone that we can be mad at.
Roy's the worst at this, right? Roy
Roy's
looks for the chance
sure
to just
meanest.
pounce on anybody.
Yeah, because I'm an asshole, and that's what usually happens.
I don't think you are, Roy.
Oh, thank you, Billy.
Makes
I
you
just
feel
think-
better.
I appreciate it.
I think you're just trying to get in and get out.
Yeah.
Of
work? Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy. Jer Bear talking about the Heat provides us that easy bait to just jump on.
I think it's because there are people here who, like I said, maybe think that the Heat talk is a little too local. And so
as opposed to Panthers.
Well, they're not nationally relevant, so.
Right. And so
the Panthers are.
The counter is to just, beat him over the head when he starts talking about it. We really want to hear this, but shut up.
Yeah, when you say he needs more flair, I have an idea, and let's just amongst us friends, if I'm not being too forward and assuming we're friends, I feel like we could tell Jeremy he needs more flair, and we can get him to wear flared pants, right? Like when he wants to talk about certain things, like we just get him to wear like bell bottoms.
Ooh, how's that helpful on the show?
Yeah.
The guy does one whiteboard one time and it went well, so every day he's coming in, he's like, I have a whiteboard, so like you can definitely see his pants because he's going to offer you a whiteboard.
corn hacky
yeah,
thing?
whether
Yeah.
you like it or not.
Corn hacky just from 1976. But Chris says he needs less flair. So what kind of, where is the...
Flared shorts, maybe? Do they make such a thing?
Slim fit.
I'm in on flare shorts.
Yeah.
Maybe I jumped the gun there.
How did we just quick trying to figure this out. We had multiple playoff games. We had a Thursday night football game. We're in the middle of the WNBA finals, and we started the show talking about Jeremy.
Yeah, and the Miami Heat. Because, hey, that's what we do. Did we want to talk about Shohei Ohtani? Because it would be great if Stu were here to back up his take of do it with nobody on base. I did back him up a little bit yesterday with the.
You got a little egg on your face, Izzy. You got to go like that.
I did. It was great because I loved seeing it on social, and I couldn't think of a counter. Like I was trying to figure out where Stugotz would go, and the answer was home. He just didn't come in today because he didn't want to have to deal with Shohei Ohtani.
I've reached out for comment, so we'll see what Stugotz says.
So for those who don't know, yesterday Stu said, do it with nobody on base because Shohei's postseason numbers have been the only times he's gotten hits has been with folks on base, which some would say is the more difficult situation, but Stu would say the opposite at just the right time. A little bit later in October, which is what he asked for previously, do it later in October, he hit a solo home run, which...
The second pitch of the game.
Second pitch of the game. Does anybody think that he heard Stugotz?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
You said yes.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. He just having to do it. So, yes, I think he heard Stugotz.
I mean, we all know what the pivot will be now for Stugotz, right?
What's that?
It's pretty obvious.
Do it with even less men on base?
Do it in the World Series.
He's about to.
But until he does it...
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody had brought up the numbers with nobody on base because Stugotz probably stole that take from somebody. The Shohei thing, I think, is hilarious. But, Chris, you said the other series is a terrible series.
It's been terrible. No, that series. No, I'm talking about
I'm sorry, this series has been the terrible series.
Dodgers-Mets has been terrible. Like, there hasn't been a close game. Game 2, I think, was 7-3. And it's outside of the interest in Ohtani, this would be a real snoozer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because after that first inning, once he did that, there's nothing more to watch.
Like give me a compelling game.
Yeah,
is all I'm asking for.
So we'll skip the baseball talk and go straight to.
Well, there was a great baseball game in Cleveland yesterday.
Was there? Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah,
there's the Cleveland coming back. Yeah,
tell us about
Big Christmas.
Aaron Judge finally
Good nickname.
Like
so good.
Aaron Judge finally does something in the playoffs, and then the bullpen blows it.
But do we want to talk about that, or do we want to talk about what? And I want to quote Billy accurately here: a controversy that is ripping this company apart. Which is more a talker?
The funny thing is,
got to be more specific.
Big Christmas isn't even the best nickname.
Okay,
it should
this
be
is where we're going.
It
All right.
should be.
Big
you want me to
Hanukkah?
give you what it should be? Big Christmas is good. It should be Papa Noel, which is Santa Claus,
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
but in Spanish.
So, Billy, this controversy that is ripping this company apart, I know this is sort of your specialty, which is sort of getting...
I'm a unifier.
Okay, I was going to say getting Tony all riled up, but I'll say your specialty is being a unifier.
Yeah.
What is the controversy that is ripping this company apart?
I didn't realize it was ripping the company apart until I came in this morning and I saw how much anger, dare I say, there was around even the conversation. So Tony comes here to work, as he'll tell you.
Thank you.
Even when he's not on the schedule, he comes here to work. So the other day, we finished recording the show, and I walked out, and I saw Tony. I said, "Oh, hey, Tony, what's up? How's it going? Like, when did you get here?" Because, like, I didn't leave the studio that day. I was just in there from when we started recording to when we left. I didn't, like, go to the bathroom or whatever. So I don't know what time people come in. Right? So
usually when he's here, he's just talking with Frankie out there and just, like, chopping it up in Spanish.
Yeah, but he could have gotten here at, like, 9:30. He could, whatever. It was, like, after 12. So I was like, I didn't know how long you've been. Like, oh, how long you been here? He's like, oh, I just got here, 10 minutes ago. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, day's done of recording. He's like, oh, I came here to work. And
These are very important details.
No, they are. I was like, he's like, I came here to work.
Table.
And I'm like, well, what did you come here to work on? And he's like, Tony's Tears. And I was like, okay, where's that airing? He's like, what do you mean? I'm work. I was like, okay, but where are you putting it? He's like, YouTube. I was like, okay, cool. So I didn't know Tony's Tears was a thing that was happening on YouTube. So this has been...
And Tony's Tears is a listing of...
I wasn't certain at the time, but I didn't want any more follow-ups because he seemed to be getting testy when I was asking him what he was doing at work on his day that he wasn't scheduled to be here. So he recorded Tony's Tears, and then yesterday Tony's Tears were released. So, like, I'll have you guys know, Tony put in a lot of work. He did the prep. He came in on a day he wasn't scheduled. He sat down. He did a whole recording session for Tony's Tears. So, like, this was just to tell you how much work Tony put into Tony's Tears and how much thought and effort go into Tony's Tears. He has a whole team around him helping him with the tears. Taylor's there, sharing his Taylor's Tears with Tony's Tears, and they go out as Tony's Tears.
Fuentes' Tears was there too. Cody's Tears were also there.
Tears everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Ethan's Tears were also flowing.
Yeah. Well, after he hears Mystery Crate, more of those. So anyway,
he already heard Mystery Crate.
Yeah, Izzy, why'd you tell him to listen to that?
Why not?
And
It's his time.
I'm the one who's wrong about us all being bullies.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring us together. So
the great unifier.
The Tony's Tears came out yesterday.
Spoiler alert: Patrick Mahomes not in the Patrick Mahomes tier.
Hold on, people haven't seen
it. Is that the controversy?
Send them to YouTube. You can go to YouTube.
Listen,
you gotta
give a spoiler. You got to tell people in about 24 minutes, Billy's going to get there.
Yeah, Tony's Tears. Go to YouTube. You can find Tony's Tears. And I thought I heard, and I Tony, forgive me, I didn't check on the YouTube. I heard there was a College Tears also. I don't know if that's come out yet or if that's going to come out or if you recorded that or not.
That may be maybe getting recorded today.
Maybe, if you're allowed
Tony's
to, because
CFB Tears.
Here's the problem. Tony's Tears came out and received a lot of criticism from fans and, coworkers alike. And I'm going to be honest with you. I saw the criticism and I heard it. And at first observance of the Tears, I kind of felt the same way. I was like, oh, so like this is what Big Cat does at Barstool. Like you're doing a quarterback Tears list and you're just putting like funny names next to the things, whatever, right? But like I kept that observation to myself. I just thought like, oh, whatever. But it's...
Can we just get a quick screen grab of Tony here? Where this posture, which is just the best,
it did
like
change.
Defensive posture, but knowing that he has to take this
more
for
my
like another
stance
15 minutes.
No, defensive stance for me is more like this right here.
Yeah,
like I'm waiting for you to go left, go right.
You never know which way Billy's going.
So, anyways, I saw it and I kind of thought to myself like, oh, I don't know about that. And then Tony was like implicitly told, don't rip off Barstool again, and that set everybody off at the office that was involved in the making of Tony's Tears. And they were out here this morning just kind of screaming at each other back and forth. They're like, oh, I'm sorry.
With each other.
Are we allowed to talk about football anymore? Like, we can't do any rankings? We can't do anything? So, like, they got very defensive at the idea that Tony put out a segment that looked similar
Wait a
to...
second.
The question here is, who invented Tears?
Exactly. So Barstool has a quarterback tier segment, and they were the inventor of that?
the optics, like the actual look of the graphic that was put out is exactly the same.
Actual look of the graphic.
The tier maker is a website that has nothing to do with any sort of media outlet whatsoever. It's its own website.
Tiermaker.com.
That you create tiers for whatever you want, whether it be pizza, whether it be your favorite sodas,
Don't do
whether it
pizza
be your
reviews.
favorite NASCAR drivers.
If you
I
do
know they
more than one bite.
own that too.
You
I
already
know.
did a pizza review.
Did you?
Yeah, remember?
Pizza list. Yeah.
You take more than
it was
one.
a horrible
one
pizza
bite.
list.
It's 25. No,
Yes.
I ate all the bites. But
So Tua at good enough?
Tua's good enough. I mean, number one offense last
He's been
year.
out for a month.
I know, but number one offense last year. Like if he's healthy, he's good enough to make it to the playoffs.
What is good enough?
Big
Good
if.
enough to make it to the playoffs
yes.
is the list. Okay,
Yes.
but so it's just the look. You don't have the same names of the tiers. You don't have the same quarterbacks
Well, that's the
on the
gimmick.
same
Is
respective tiers.
it changes weekly. So like the tiers will have different names, and then the people get plugged in. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, and Tony's probably getting mad at this, when I saw it, I thought it was not Tony. I saw it and I was like, oh, there's a Patrick Mahomes thing, and Patrick Mahomes not in. Like, that's clever. And then I like swiped to the
And
side
because
and go,
it was clever, is that why you thought it
no,
wasn't
I swiped to
Tony?
the side and go, what's Tony doing in here? And then I saw what was going on. I was like, oh, there's a confusion here.
So how do we solve this issue? Can we just reverse the colors? Can we?
Sure, I can use a different tier maker website if that makes people happy. I mean,
They were very upset out there, all the people that are involved with Tony's tiers, to the point that like they had screenshots of like a number of different media outlets using Tier Maker as a defense of like, we didn't steal this. Look, everyone has stolen this.
And is that not usable evidence? Can we not just defend Tony in that way? Others have done it, so why can't he do that?
Well, I mean, I think that the defense was, look, other people have stolen this idea too, so we can steal it as well.
guys, we're in 2024.
Yeah.
We've been ranking quarterbacks since the beginning of time.
I mean, did
We've been
Stugotz
ranking
not just say
quarterbacks.
that into Michelle Beadle's chest when he was at ESPN? I want to rank quarterbacks. It's the same
People
thing.
feel like this weird thing of like, oh, that's only for these people. Oh, they can only use it. It's like, guys, Big Cat can rank quarterbacks. I can rank quarterbacks. Roy can rank quarterbacks. Izzy can rank quarterbacks. Jess can rank quarterbacks. Mike Fuentes can rank quarterbacks. Kirsten can rank quarterbacks.
Ethan cannot.
I don't think I can rank quarterbacks.
Why not?
If you wanted to, I'd support you. And if you want to use Tier Maker, I'd also support you. You know why? Because it's a free website that I don't have to pay for, that puts all my things in a tier, and then I can name them whatever I want.
How about this? We don't call it tiers.
But it's
Well,
Tony's
change the
tiers,
name.
though. But it's
Yeah,
Tony's
yeah, that's
tiers.
the problem,
It
though.
rhymes. He has the rhyme.
Yeah, I understand the alliteration and everything, but
Your last name?
how about we change it?
To what?
Haven't figured that out yet. How about shelves?
I have a Tony shelf.
Tony's
so it doesn't
shelves?
work.
I don't like
Tony
that
shelves.
Sounds
no.
like we're saving it for
No.
later.
Yeah, yeah, it's still
shelving it.
workshopping here. You know,
How about just levels? There are levels to this, and these are the quarterback
Levels.
But I thought the
Quarterback levels?
controversy was because of who is at what level. Because you've got
No.
a Patrick
That was
Mahomes
also-
level, as was said.
that was
who
also a
does
big
not
controversy.
include Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, people
Pyramids.
were upset. People were upset that Caleb wasn't higher. People were like, "How can you say that?" Let me see who else is on there.
Boy.
How can you say that Sam Darnold isn't? The jury's still out. Like he's good enough, and it's like, well, no, not really. This is the first 5 games he's ever done it before in his entire life.
It looks
York
like-
Jury's
short.
still out.
It looks like we have a video from Tony's Tears. No, it looks like we have a video right here from Tony's Tears. Should we play it?
Go to the
Fine, we
program.
don't have to. It's fine.
Why don't
it
you
wasn't
wanna-
working in it wasn't loading up.
No, I think it's loading.
Oh, okay, that's
Why
I
don't
your
we-
see it
excuse.
right here.
Yeah, why don't we play it
It's
right now?
frozen.
on
It's not going to
It's
work,
frozen.
so we're not.
Yeah,
going
let's
to.
play it.
No,
Put it on the
I mean,
screen. Put it on the screen.
it's
Yes,
down,
put it
down.
up.
It's
Jason,
not
why don't you
happening.
play it, Jason?
What he's telling
Let's
you is
debate
that
this
it
longer.
doesn't work.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's like I'm telling you guys, it's not working. Like, it
Really?
sounds like-
Because it looks
Chris,
like
turn
it's
the
moving
pot
right now.
on.
Okay.
Chris, raise the volume.
Come on.
Chris,
Come on.
Move on with the show.
why doesn't Chris
Wow,
want us
Chris
to play this
controlling
video?
the-
Wow, look
What
at
is
this
happening
executive
here?
producer.
This is the most
happening?
control Chris has
Chris
ever
is
shown
playing
here. I
actively
have
playing
no
defense
idea
against
what's
this for some
happening
reason.
right
I don't know
now.
what's going on. Were you told we're not allowed
Yes,
to
it's
play
not
it?
working. You guys are like, we
So
can,
there's no
we can
sound.
sit here if you guys want and just sit in this if you'd like.
There's
or we
no
can keep it
sound.
moving.
Roy, turn the sound on. The video is going to play. I don't know why Chris Cody
Wow,
is
this is straight up
censoring it.
Well, it's on
I
his
was
side
just
of the
told we
board,
have a
though.
video
We
from
have a
Tony's.
I
mutiny.
think I can tell when people are lying, and Chris is doing a terrible job.
Exactly.
of
Jess
lying
doesn't know what
here.
she's talking about. It's not working.
Why don't you want to play the sound?
I don't know. I'm being. I'm only the traffic cop here, guys. I'm
No,
being told
this
it's not
will
working.
be the controversy that rips this company apart. Okay, I think mostly everybody here knows that you have that sound down,
Yeah.
and you are not playing it properly, and you probably look bad in this video. Is the only conclusion I can come.
Well,
to.
hold on. He doesn't look bad because Tony's Tears was done at the end of the day, and we kind of have like a union shop here where at a certain
We have a
point,
union?
the camera operators don't do their job. They're like, hey, yeah, we'll just put one thing on, and then it'll just be you the entire time. So it was like 25 minutes of just me. right? But there was a bunch of people in this room.
That makes you guys happy.
Lasted for 25 minutes.
Yeah, but again, we had a lot of input. We had a lot of input from the group. We had a lot of input from the group. We had a lot of input.
How long is Tony's tears?
I want to watch this video.
It was 20-some odd
So
minutes.
do I. It stinks.
But the thing is, it doesn't change. Here's why you're not going to see Chris and him sitting in whatever he's about to do is because the camera angles don't change, so it's just focused on me the entire time.
Okay, reset everything.
Your quarterback tier list is 29 minutes long.
So
if you want
that's
to watch
way too long, dude. Just put out a list.
If you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't.
Yesterday, hold on. Everybody hold on. I just want to paint this picture one more time. Yesterday, Tony comes in when he's not scheduled to come in.
No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
That's important.
Maybe Monday.
This week.
No, it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
The point is he puts in work when he's not on the schedule.
When he wasn't on the schedule, came in and decided to do Tony's Tiers. Apparently used a website that everybody in sports uses, but got a lot of crap for using it because a large cat uses it. And then decided to do a 29-minute video
explaining
which was at least, what is that, about a minute per quarterback? Are there even 29 quarterbacks in the league? That's too much. And now the controversy is what, Billy?
It's too long for Billy's liking.
Could have been an hour, honestly.
We could have gone more.
We tightened it up.
We did.
And within that 29 minutes, there was one camera only on Tony, despite the fact that Chris was there talking.
Despite the fact that Chris, Ethan, Fuentes, and Taylor were talking.
I have a defensive TV room in my headset giving me more background as to what happened with the situation.
I know what happened.
I could give you the context if you'd like it as to why there was only one camera. The story that I'm told in my headset was Tony never reserved the studio, so there wasn't a crew prepared for him to be using the studio at that time. And Taylor, who is the producer, made the decision to use only one camera.
Okay.
So you got to book the room, buddy.
It takes a whole crew to make cuts, I guess.
So we can blame Taylor as to why we're not seeing
I'm not blaming
Chris.
anyone. I'm just giving a voice to the voiceless that keep talking in my headset.
That's fine. I'll do it. I can blame Taylor for not showing us Chris on the camera, but it is clearly Chris who is keeping us from hearing what's on that tape.
I'm telling you, did you not
Why
see,
don't you want...
They
why
cut
don't-
to the video. They were like, no.
Chris, just give it up. We want to hear the video.
They both told
Just
me in my
give it
headset
up.
that it worked.
Release
and you
the
just had it
video.
muted.
Release the video.
All right, it's up. Go ahead, play it. Oh, it's not working. Imagine that.
Chris.
That's the wrong pot. They just.
Oh,
lifted.
shit. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Here you go. Game with you guys one time. These two quarterbacks are exactly the same. And you just have to pick two quarterbacks that you think, in terms of like skill and their careers, like they're just exactly the same in terms of how good they are, our perception of them. Because I have a nominee. You guys want to hear it, or we'll save it for a different day?
No, say.
Geno Smith. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot the other guy I was talking about. Who was the guy I was just talking to you about?
Sam
Taylor?
Darnold?
No, god damn it! I can't believe I'm
Geno
doing this
Smith?
now.
Keep this in. Yeah, I keep this in. Is that?
Well, that explains everything.
It finally
they
worked.
did you no
It
favors.
ended up being Geno Smith and Derek Carr have had a similar career. They're the same.
They're the
quarterback.
same.
That's
Tell
what
me
Chris
I'm
was
wrong.
trying to say.
Derek
Nope.
Carr, Geno Smith.
No, we can't do that.
They're the same.
Did you not write anything down, Chris? I mean, talk about a bad time to have a camera being down. I would have just loved those 3 seconds of Chris's face just being like, what the hell am I thinking?
Big Cat's not doing that. I'll tell you that much.
We got to go Chris's Tiers, right? Or Chris's matchups where it's one person
Chris's
and then
sweat
it's just
trying
a
to think of
blank
Derek Carr.
silhouette.
Geno Smith.
All right, so if I have this correctly, someone's mad at you for
Everybody's always mad at me, but that's
ripping
fine.
off Big Cat's Tears. Taylor is now beefing with you guys for some reason
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
he told the video team they could go home because he didn't want them to cut from camera to camera. And now you guys are saying that he's a bad producer.
I didn't say
Chris
that.
is beefing with all of us because we just played that video. Who else is beefing
I'm telling
right
you,
now?
it was buffering. Like, I played it as soon as I could.
Well, I would beef if I were. Can we put the graphic back up of Tony's Tiers? Because there are, 6, 7 tiers. One of them is bad. And there's only one person on it. And from here, I can't even tell who that is.
Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden O'Connell. Even if I got closer, I couldn't tell you who that
Somehow
was.
Deshaun Watson, not bad.
No, because he's in the cooked horrible
even
category.
worse.
Why is
Right.
jury
It's
still
cooked.
out dead last year?
Yeah, shouldn't jury still out
Yeah,
be
it'd be like
somewhere
right
in the
around the
middle?
middle.
Well, it's
like
kind of
maybe
like the same
before
comment.
Matt?
It's kind of like
Yeah.
by itself in its own like bottom row.
Would you
so that
rather
way
be
it can move
meh
up.
or jury still out?
Jury's still
I
out.
would rather be jury still out because the jury came out on meh and they
Yeah,
said meh.
jury should be yellow, meh should be green, bad should be blue, cook should be purple.
I think we're now seeing how Tony's tears ended up being 29 minutes long. There's a lot. It's just meaty.
Thank you.
In fairness, he had less than a minute for each quarterback. If there's 32 teams.
On top of that, this isn't even the official list or the official graphic. The official graphic has somebody much smaller in the good enough category. This has him far too big.
It's Kyler Murray.
Yeah, we have Kyler Murray very tiny in our official one.
We released it with an unofficial graphic.
I do think that the main controversy here is that Patrick Mahomes is not in the Patrick Mahomes division. Can we call it the Lamar Jackson division?
Stugotz, more muscular.
Mm-hmm. I have lost 10 pounds.
Have you?
Yeah, using my Peloton. I've had the Peloton in my house. So my daughter, she wanted me to get a Peloton.
Yeah.
I did. She used it a couple of times.
Great endorsement.
But once she left to college and the Peloton was just sitting there in my office and it wasn't being used, I said, you know what? I got to use this. And I have lost 10 to 12 pounds, Billy.
So I started using Peloton as a bike. Obviously, that's like what they're known for. But recently, I discovered all of the other classes that they have. So they have like a series of weightlifting classes. They have programs, which for me, the programs is great because I don't have to think about what I'm doing. Sure. If not, I just go and I pick a class at random and I don't know that I'm actually accomplishing anything.
I would like some recommendations on classes because I keep going to the same class.
Okay.
It's the Grateful Dead class, by the way.
You do like a 4-week core program with Emma Lovewell.
Right.
I would recommend that one.
Okay.
Anyone can do that. Any level starts out, easy, and then you work your way up. And then there's like a core program 2 that you can do after core program 1 if you want to do that. Yeah, if you graduate.
Wait a second. You have to graduate course 1 to get to course 2, the harder course?
Well, you can start at course 2 if you want, but I eased my way in. I did course 1 first. Then you can do some strength classes with Andy. Love a strength class with Andy. He really puts me through it. I get up and I'm like a sweaty mess. And I'm kind of disgusting and I love it. You know anything about Peloton, Stugotz?
What?
Peloton coaches, they walk the walk.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they talk the talk?
They have sub 3-hour marathon runner coaches. They have military trained athlete coaches, former college basketball player coaches, and so many other well-rounded coaches on their team. All this experience really shows in their classes, which are never short of challenging. You can do some resistance band classes. I got some resistance bands lately.
You're my teacher.
Am I?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Well, I just go with the program so that I don't have to think because I don't know. I don't actually know what I'm doing. Anyways, what's the like Mr. Olympia, right? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
The one where you go and you're like lifting
Tony
like
Atlas.
giant boulders.
Yeah.
Hey, we should talk to Magnus again.
That's Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did I say?
Olympus.
Did I?
I don't know.
Anyways, find your push, find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp.
What's something that scares you? Halloween is all about having fun with what scares us. But what about those fears that don't show up in costume? Like fear of failure, rejection, or change. Therapy can be a powerful tool for facing fears that we just can't laugh off. It helps us build positive coping skills, set boundaries, and become the best versions of ourselves. It's not just for those who've experienced trauma. Sometimes the scariest thing is holding ourselves back by avoiding what we're really afraid of. So this Halloween, why not think about facing your fears? Not the ones dressed as monsters, but the ones that keep you from moving forward. Therapy might be just the place to start. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Folks, listen up. It promises to be a month of tricks, treats, and of course, touchdowns. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is the #1 place to bet on touchdowns. New to DraftKings? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score a touchdown. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Here's the reason for new customers to do a touchdown dance of their own. Bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN. That's code DAN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ftball.
Dan Le Batard.
Sugar daddies. These things, I'm telling you.
I love sugar daddy.
They get stuck in your teeth. Like you can't chew them. They're like impossible to chew. They are impossible to chew.
Every day.
Stugotz.
Hell yeah, brother.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Natural transition from a coloring book to the bucket of death. We're really obsessed with death around here. We're all going to die. We have a bucket of death. The Reaper is in the back, and I believe Jess is ready. I've got a penalty to pay, by the way. I had the Denver Broncos last week, and I wanted to do the handcuff to a partner. I don't know what penalty that is.
Hell yeah, brother.
But I couldn't do that with Stugotz the other day because he was jumping from studio to studio because I had to work with Billy and stuff. So
I was gonna wear like an inflatable waving man outfit because that's one of my punishments I selected for my only loss this year. And there was a lot
do it for today, right?
Well,
there was
that's the thing. There was some controversy. I was gonna do it earlier in the week, and then they told me no, you can't because Dan's not here. And then they told me you have permission to do it. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna do it. And then
the Giants.
Jessica has the Giants.
They said
we already know she's putting it back there. 3.5-point home underdogs against the Eagles.
The Commies.
The Washington Commanders.
That's a good one.
Playing the Panthers.
Yeah,
Great
Panthers,
pick.
Second biggest spread of the week.
Yeah.
All right.
Rummaging.
So I couldn't do it today because it was a shorter show.
I don't think I've won.
You don't think you've won at all? Have you paid any of your
I got
penalties?
the Colts.
Dolphins.
Play the Dolphins, yeah. Actually,
Colts are 3-point favorites at home.
I
against
don't hate it.
Dolphins.
The problem is if Anthony Richardson plays, I don't really trust him.
We still don't
right
know if
now.
he's playing.
He is playing. I've read.
He's practicing. I think he's
Which
trending
tier
on
was
playing.
he in?
He was in the jury still out tier because he's been injured.
And
I'm gonna put it back.
Where was the Dolphins' backup quarterback in this?
Snoop Hundley didn't make this was starters only.
Is he not starting?
He is, but you need a bigger sample size of starting.
Interesting.
All right, I got the Bengals. Playing the Browns this week, a 5.5-point favorites. I'll take that.
It's an upgrade.
Greatest 1-4 team in the history of football. Is that
2
what
and
they
4.
are? 2 and 4.
2 and 4. Yeah.
All right, we got Roy coming up next.
I see,
Roy.
man. You don't have to shake it.
Reaper's having a tough time. Reaper looks like he's had back surgery. He's just kind of bending straight over.
The New York Giants, which is going in already. No.
They are a 3.5-point underdog
at home against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Panthers?
The Las Vegas Raiders.
He got the Raiders, which are a 7-point underdog at the Rams.
Yeah.
I hate this. I almost cursed.
Right.
I hate this.
Their quarterback is in the bad tier.
Yeah, he's not good.
All right.
Honestly, don't know who he is.
Packers.
Went to Purdue.
3-point favorite at home against
Tough
the Texans.
game. That's a great game.
Why was Aiden O'Connell on your list? He's only played one game.
He's a starter now because they benched Minshew.
Oh, okay.
But small sample size.
Just two good teams. I don't know what's going to happen
He
there.
was a starter before, though. Last year.
Should have probably kept that, but I'm going to put it back.
I feel like he was okay last year.
And I got the Texans. That's funny. Okay. Texans at Packers.
Texans are 3-point dogs at the Packers. It's a pretty big football weekend, is it not? Is it bigger college football weekend or NFL football weekend?
Some are saying best week 7 in NFL history.
NFL history. I thought in college football we have a bunch of great matchups.
A couple bangers in college football.
It's going to be a great college football weekend, but Chiefs at Niners should be fun, I think.
I got the Falcons. They are hosting the Seahawks.
That's a fun game too. Seahawks Falcons.
I'm gonna put it back. I like a second. I like a second one. They're only 3-point favorites.
Case,
you never know.
We got Texans Packers tonight.
Oh, I got the Titans, so that didn't go well. They are playing at Buffalo. They are 9.5-point underdogs. That blew up in my face.
Thank you, Reaper. Such a gentlemanly Reaper today. I've got the Miami Dolphins. Wow, I really want to keep this.
At
It's
Indy.
just another reason to cheer. I cannot. Who's the quarterback? Snoop. He's not even on a tier. I'm putting this one back.
Attaboy.
Miami Dolphins. It is meant to be. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw that.
Jeez.
Roy threw his.
You
I felt like it was
the
okay.
Dolphins twice?
I
Has
did.
that ever happened before?
Has it ever happened before?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to throw it out? I can't remember.
No, you
but it's
got
more of a
Dolphins.
chance to get the same team twice if I'm the last person picking because there's 5. Hold on, doesn't somebody have to pick for Stugotz?
No, just
Not
it's
this
only
year.
people that are
He-
here.
keep it
yeah.
moving.
Yeah, he
Right
gets
here.
to skate.
Yeah,
This
we
was
don't want to
ruling
set a
by
bad precedent.
This was ruling by you, Billy. What happened here?
No, just keep the segment moving. People hate it now. Anyways.
the-
Regardless of
So do I.
Regardless of whether you're watching college or NFL, we think that you should use the Game Time app if you're looking to go to sports this weekend. I know that I'm going to a Miami game in a few weeks. I was on the Game Time app last night. You get the view, you get to see where you're sitting. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
What game are you going to?
The I was thinking about going to FSU.
Oh, okay.
So I was just perusing those tickets.
Are you a person?
No, but I like to go to a game. I like to check out a tailgate once a year.
That's just for the tailgate, just for the experience, just for the drinks. You're not even really cheering on the football.
Right. I'm not a big fan.
So, Tony, you said it was, some would say, the best Week 7 slate in NFL. I'm sorry, Chris said that. The best Week 7 slate in NFL history, but it's something you support here. Which are your favorites here?
I'm looking at Lions-Vikings as a big-time game because Vikings are probably the most surprising team in the NFL. Great defense. Their offense has been online. But the Lions, like we said yesterday, Amina agreed, Lions are a buzzsaw team. So when you see a buzzsaw and I don't know what the Vikings are. I'd have to come up with what the Vikings are. But immovable force and unstoppable object or whatever it's called, bam, put it together. That's a great game.
No, you nailed it.
Texans-Packers could be a little, I don't want to say it's a little too early, but Super Bowl preview? Anybody?
Wow.
Anybody? Super Bowl preview with this one?
These are some big games. And you've got, as Jess mentioned, you got the 49ers and the Chiefs. 49ers are somehow 1.5-point favorites there. Is that just because they're at home? Is it just because of the Chiefs' skill injuries? That one I'm not so sure of.
That's exactly what it is, both of those. You're a bookmaker.
And they looked good last week. I think for the first time in weeks.
The Niners did.
Yeah.
Well, the Lions-Vikings is interesting to me because I just am still of the opinion that Sam Darnold is going to experience like an epic collapse. Like, it would have been better off for him if he started off 3-2 or 4-1, right? When you go 5-0 and you show those signs of brilliance, like, people are going to expect it all year. But I saw some signs in that last game of his where I was just like, I feel like a lot of these things are going to come back. Like, he's seeing ghosts, it feels like sometimes, and he's just kind of getting away with it.
That's been his MO, right? Like, he's never really had a season where he's been a very good quarterback, right? Like, he was with the Jets, and that's where that famous seeing ghost line came from, where Bill Belichick was just dialing up blitzes, and he was throwing it to whoever. It didn't matter. And then he went to Carolina, wasn't good there, then was a backup in San Francisco, and then goes to Minnesota, and everybody's like, there's no way Minnesota's going to have him as a starting quarterback, right? Draft J.J. McCarthy, he's out for the season. It's like, no, we're sticking with Sam Darnold, and all of a sudden they're 5-0. Is that the defense? Is that Kevin O'Connell? Is that Justin Jefferson? What is the mix?
Lucky again in this one against the Lions because Mina gave that wild stat yesterday. I think Aiden Hutchinson had like 40 quarterback pressures and nobody else on his team had more than 7.
Yeah, exactly.
So the fact that Darnold's probably going to have more time than he would have if Hutchinson was in there, probably going to make him look good again. But that injury made me sad. And yesterday there was more injury news that made me sad. And it was not NFL related. Sorry, transition, Roy. Kawhi Leonard. Missing, thank you. Missing indefinitely with another knee injury, and you just hear people calling for his retirement. And coincidentally, like I think 1 through 10 of the ESPN rankings came out, and I don't know what Kawhi was ranked, but I would only rank people, even include them if they're ranked, if I thought they were going to be available for the playoffs. And Kawhi has just had so much misfortune, and it's honestly, like when people say when people say Tua should retire, I feel more so Kawhi should retire. I just feel he's so unfortunate.
So if you were making tiers, you would put him in a tier that's called retire?
Yeah.
Retirement tiers.
Who else is in that
Maker,
tier?
Though. Do not use tier maker.
Don't use Can I use like reversetiermaker.com or just start with purple if that's good enough?
Why is Sam Darnold on the jury still out?
Because we've never seen him be good. This is the first time he's been good, so the jury's like, we've never really had to talk about Sam
good
Darnold.
enough?
Yeah, of course. Baker, dark horse MVP.
Do you think Kawhi would have been able to play this season if he hadn't gone to those 2 Team USA practices?
Wow.
That's the funny part. It's just, it seems like we've been getting warnings from the beginning that he wasn't going to be able to make it, or make it to the season, through the season. But that's the wild part. Like, the way people are going to remember Kawhi Leonard, like he just dotted a couple of like crazy eras, right? He won a championship like at the tail end of LeBron and the super team era, was the finals MVP, but people probably still think of Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili first, even with that team. And then at the tail end of the Warriors dynasty and before he could actually even continue that because you knew he was going to leave Toronto. He wins another championship there, and there were moments where people were saying he was the best player in the league, which is wild because he couldn't even stay out there long enough. But when he was out there in his prime, it was a discussion. Like, he could lock up anybody and he was almost Mr. Fundamentals of the perimeter there. So the way people will remember Kawhi, not saying he's going to retire now, but I just don't see much in his future, is it's just a large swing one way or the other.
Like you said, like
but that's one way they'll remember him.
They'll always remember him for that. But
that's all I'm going to remember, honestly.
I mean, the shot against Philly is one that I'll remember too, like the bouncing shot. That was a big one. But you're right, it's like, how do you put a guy in a legacy tier where you're like, you were so great when you were there, but you just weren't available enough, right? You were with a great team in San Antonio. Then you basically create your own team that wins a championship in Toronto. And it's like, but you just... I can't think of any other thing of Kawhi Leonard outside of 2014 and 2019.
So he has to be his own separate tier. Like there's just a Kawhi Leonard tier. He's just by himself. Nobody else, when they're healthy, leads a team to a championship and then never healthy again.
Well, do you have to retire first to then be in a different set of tiers where you can have a legacy tier? Or is legacy tier and retire tier include all of the tiers that encompass current and retired players?
That is a good question, because I think when you've got him, it's not a good question, but
No,
it made me think. It made me think that Kawhi.
It's Friday, SNA day, Izzy.
Because he's currently still playing, and people want him to still play, be dominant, make a playoff run. I think they're judging him harshly, whereas if he was to retire and you just look back at his career, I think it's like Tony said, you probably look at it pretty fondly and say, hey, this guy's had the misfortune of having these injuries, but dang it, when he was healthy, I don't care if it was, the back end of the Warriors and they were all hurt. That Heat team was pretty healthy when they were playing.
And the Spurs offense was incredible, led by him. Like, he was at one point almost the best two-way player in the league, right? Defensively, he was number one. And then offensively, he could just get to any spot, make any shot. His mid-range game was awesome. Started developing a three at a little bit towards the back end of his career, but it was like he was just a force on the court, and then he was just gone. And he was supposed to be the anchor of that Clipper team, right? It was like the next super team, Paul George, James Harden, and Kawhi. And it's like, now you're looking across Paul George's in Philly, Harden's like, and you're like, what? Like, what did Ballmer buy?
And there's a lot of injuries, a lot of people with injury histories where you're just like, I can predict what's going to happen. Call me a hater. Those Clippers team were never going to win a championship with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George as their two guys, and now they're in different places.
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's something that scares you? Halloween is all about having fun with what scares us. But what about those fears that don't show up and cost you? Like fear of failure, rejection, or change. Therapy can be a powerful tool for facing fears that we just can't laugh off. It helps us build positive coping skills, set boundaries, and become the best versions of ourselves. It's not just for those who've experienced trauma. Sometimes the scariest thing is holding ourselves back by avoiding what we're really afraid of. So this Halloween, why not think about facing your fears? Not the ones dressed as monsters, but the ones that keep you from moving forward. Therapy might be just the place to start. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Howdy, listener. It's Mike Ryan. You probably like football, don't you? You're listening to a sports podcast. How can you not love football? From defending your favorite team after a bad loss to obsessively checking your fantasy lineups, football fandom is bigger than just Sundays. Miller Lite knows the passion that comes with rooting for your team, like the debate that sparked in 1975. Great taste versus less filling. So, what is the best thing about the original light beer? Let it be both. From its beautiful color, to that gorgeous white can, to the fact that it's refreshing, to knowing that you're not sacrificing any flavor when you grab America's favorite light beer, the original light beer. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, great taste at only 96 calories. Make your game time taste like Miller time. Tastes great and is less filling. Let it be both. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.